What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video where we will talk about the huge talent Eduardo Camavinga, the Rennes midfielder who refused to sign a new contract for Rennes, and he is an absolutely huge talent. At the moment he is 18 years old and he is a French midfielder who is one of the biggest talents in the French league coming through, and he is now a regular for Rennes, and he actually played in the Champions League this season. Even though Rennes didn't make it through from the group stage, he got valuable experience. And according to the very reliable journalist David Ornstein, in his report he is claiming that the 18-year-old has announced his intention to leave Rennes at the end of the season. Rennes are still in 7th place in the French league. They are fighting to get into the Europa League, but probably Kamavinga wants to move to a bigger club to earn more wages and also to further his footballing career. Kamavinga has been linked with Liverpool previously, as reported by Spanish outlet Sport, and many clubs including Manchester United, Real Madrid and Liverpool are watching his career developing very closely. As stated in the Athletic report, the 18-year-old's contract is set to run out and in 2022, so Rennes has to sell Kamavinga right now, otherwise they will get absolutely nothing for him. So let me know what do you think about this, and leave a like if you enjoy these transfer news updates. And also we will have some big news in this video later, so stay tuned for that. And Rennes is looking for a considerable transfer fee. Kamavinga is valued at around 40 to 50 million pounds, and for that amount I would prefer for Liverpool to sign a more established player, because Kamavinga is a huge talent, but you don't know what his true potential will be until maybe he goes to a bigger club or a bigger league, because the French league, it's very hard to judge a player, even though great players like Fabinho came from the French league and Mbappe still plays there. And Kamavinga, his talent is very obvious to see. I have watched the French league highlights recently, and Kamavinga has always stood out as a great player. And I think these are the kind of players that Liverpool will target, because if Kamavinga goes to a bigger club, maybe in Germany or in Spain, and he develops further, then Liverpool would be very difficult for Liverpool to get him then, because the transfer fee will be even higher. But right now you could get Kamavinga for maybe a lower price, because he only has 1 year left on his contract, and if you get Kamavinga on a lower price, say 30 million pounds, then he could develop into a really great player, and you could even sell him on for a profit in 5, 6, 7 years, because he's so young. He's just 18 years old. And Kamavinga's story is actually very interesting and very inspiring. Of course, he is now a professional footballer, but he was born in Angola to Congolese parents, and he's considered among the top youngsters in world football. And Kamavinga's story is very interesting, so let me tell you. Kamavinga was born in a refugee camp in Mikonge, Angola in 2002 to Congolese parents who actually fled from Kinshasa, and he has 5 siblings, brothers and sisters. His family moved to France when he was just 2 years old, and Kamavinga's house was burnt down in 2013, which basically destroyed most of the family's property and belongings. So Kamavinga claimed, his father claimed that this was his main motivation that pushed him to pursue a career in football. And Kamavinga has been a part of the Rennes youth system since the age of 11. He signed his first professional contract in 2018 at the age of 16 years and 1 month, becoming the youngest ever professional for Rennes Football Club. He made his professional debut on April the 6th, 2019. So just 2 years ago, Kamavinga made his professional debut at just 16 years old, becoming the youngest ever player to play for Rennes' first team at 16 years old and 4 months. And just a few months later, in August 2019, Kamavinga recorded an assist and he was awarded the Man of the Match award in a 2-1 win against Paris Saint-Germain. He scored his first goal for Rennes in a 1-0 win against Lyon on December the 15th, 2019. That was an 89th minute winner against one of the biggest clubs in France, Lyon. So he already is making a name for himself in the French league. And what is also incredibly exciting for Kamavinga is that at just 17 years old, he was called up to play on France's senior team, international team, after Paul Pogba was sidelined with COVID. And he became the youngest player to be called up to the French senior team since René Girard in 1932. So almost for 100 years, that's like almost 90 years, there was nobody called up to the French national team who was as young as Kamavinga, 17 years, 9 months and 17 days old. So that is a hugely inspiring story in my opinion that I wanted to share with you guys. And he also already made his French debut for the France national team, where he debuted against Croatia in a 4-2 win. And also he became the youngest player to play for France since Maurice Gastiguer in 1914. That is crazy. At 17 years old and 9 months old, he became the youngest player since, like, for more than 100 years for the France national team. His parents must be so proud of Kamavinga. I know he already played 3 times for France, and he scored against Ukraine in a 7-1 demolition of Ukraine in a friendly in October the 7th, 2020. And he could be the long-term Wijnaldum replacement. Wijnaldum is 30 years old and he's not looking likely to sign a new contract, so Kamavinga could be a player who could replace Wijnaldum, and he has been called the next Viera for his ability on the ball, but I don't like these comparisons. But Kamavinga is certainly a very circus player. He can drop his shoulder and go past people. I think the way he plays reminds me a little bit of Naby Keita. Of course, he's still developing, so it's very hard to judge exactly what kind of player Kamavinga will become. But what is great about Kamavinga is that at just 18 years old, he can be coached to become a lot of different midfielders depending on what his team needs. So if Jurgen Klopp were to sign Kamavinga, he could mold him into a brilliant attacking midfielder, hopefully who can score goals. And Liverpool could be selling a whole host of midfielders, Shaqiri, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Wijnaldum might leave. So this has actually tipped Liverpool to go and look for a centre midfielder, and it has led to the interest in Kamavinga. And even the French League, Ligue 1, has been impressed by the midfielder. And the French League produced an article and they touted him to be the next Viera, a legend with Arsenal and France, who won the World Cup, the European Championship and the Premier League. The teenager was wanted by Real Madrid last summer, but he decided to stay for more playing time, but his contract is expiring in 2022, and he rejected a new deal, which opens up the possibility of him leaving Rennes, and Liverpool are one of several interested parties in him. And I want to share with you guys a brilliant column by Luis Enrique in the Empire of the Cup website, where he actually said some very interesting things. He's a former left back of Liverpool, and I think his thoughts are very interesting because he said Liverpool cannot miss that many chances in the Champions League quarter-final. That's not possible. Imagine if Mo Salah had taken that early chance. We actually looked very good. It's the best we have played for a while, and now the job is putting that kind of performance into the Premier League. Our intensity was great, we just couldn't score our chances. Wijnaldum had a big one to score as well. It's slightly worrying times for Liverpool because we now need the top 4 in order to help renew a lot of contracts and tempt some new players into the club. Real Madrid did nothing apart from making a few half chances. Our problem is that we used to need 2 chances maximum to score 1 goal, and we have lost that a little bit, and that's a very good point by Jose Enrique. Salah normally scores the first chance. He shot centrally instead of to the left or to the right. If he shoots to one side or the other and the goalkeeper saves it, you say fair enough, but he shot in the middle of the goal, so it was very easy for Courtois to save it. Jose Enrique said, I was screaming screaming at the TV on the sofa. I think many Liverpool fans were at that moment. And Jose Enrique is convinced that if Liverpool score that early chance, then we beat Real Madrid. We control their midfield completely. The brilliant Casemiro, Kroos and Modric did nothing. We dominated them with our pressing, so that's a real positive. James Milner was amazing and we shouldn't be surprised anymore. This is what he does. He is the kind of player all youngsters should aspire to be. I don't think Jurgen Klopp was right to sub him off after the hour, because we got worse when he left. In games like against Real Madrid, it's no surprise to see Thiago on the bench. The players who can give Liverpool the intensity they need in midfield are James Milner, Henderson, Curtis Jones, and with two of those injured, we needed Milner. Thiago is world class, but he's a number 6 and Liverpool already have the best number 6 in the country in Fabinho, so Thiago has a problem. The best option for Thiago going forward is if Liverpool play with two holding midfielders, a double pivot behind the attacking midfielder and the strikers. But I'm not sure that is the best for the team, as 4-3-3 is Jurgen Klopp's favorite shape and how we usually play. We will see what Jurgen Klopp does. I can't teach him anything, but in the second half yesterday when Thiago came on, we lost some intensity. And also, I agree with Jose Enrique when he said that Andy Robertson should have been the captain, not Wijnaldum. I believe Klopp has given Wijnaldum the armband as an appreciation for what he has done before. He's not signing a contract, so for me, he would not be my captain when Van Dijk, Henderson and Milner are not on the field. I would give it to Trent or Robbo, but I would probably go for Robbo. I believe the way he plays and the way he always gives 100% makes him truly deserving of it. He's a top character. Gini is a legend of the club for what he has done, but he is leaving. I wouldn't give the captaincy to someone who is leaving. Obviously, I respect Jurgen Klopp's decision. There is no question about Gini's performance last night. He was great, he's one of the best midfielders in the world, but still, and I don't mind him thinking about his future. All players do the same, as he has one big contract left now, he's in his 30s. Thankfully, we have Curtis Jones, who has the ability to grow into the team when Gini Wijnaldum leaves. And Jose Enrique also makes an interesting argument about Liverpool, who should keep Nat Phillips rather than spend £18 million on Ozan Kabak, saving money for other areas in the team. If both Phillips and Kabak were free this summer, I would still go for Phillips, but Phillips was already ours and Kabak costing 18 million. I definitely choose Nat Phillips. Next season, my 4 defenders, Enrique said, would be Van Dijk, Gomez, Matip and Phillips. If Matip is sold, I would bring in a new centre-back, but Phillips won't cost us anything and he has proven himself. The problem with that is that both Joe Gomez and Joel Matip are very injury prone, so if both of them out, are you partnering Van Dijk with Nat Phillips for a month or two? I'm not sure. I think we need a 5th option, so Kabak would be my choice. Phillips is strong and amazing in the air. Kabak would be better for a possession team, a Barcelona, but in the Premier League with all the long balls, I prefer Phillips for our style. I think next to Van Dijk, Gomez or Matip, he could do the job. He's still quite young and he's getting better and better. He deserves an opportunity next season. That means money can be spent elsewhere. Obviously, if we had 300 million, we could just bring in Khalidou Koulibaly or whoever, but Liverpool, we have to be smart this summer. Jurgen Klopp likes tall centre-backs and who are quick. Phillips isn't quick, but he's big and he is a brilliant header of the ball. I don't think Klopp watched much of Ben Davies before he arrived. I can tell you from being a player that managers only have time to focus on players in their own league. Jurgen Klopp won't be watching championship games, so he would have relied on his scouts. The fact he hasn't played means I can't judge him, but there is obviously a reason why he and Kostas Tsimikas are not playing. And also, Jose Enrique said that Liverpool might need to finish in the top 4 to keep Mo Salah and to allow his top wages, because he needs a big new contract, and Liverpool without Champions League football might not be able to give Mo Salah a big new contract. I really hope Salah stays at Liverpool, as Enrique said. I actually don't think this season has been his best in terms of performance, but he still gets the goals, the most important thing in football. When we have not played well, he still scored. The fact we are still fighting for the top 4 is because of Salah. And without Champions League football next season, there is a risk Liverpool won't be able to afford the contract he's probably asking for. I really believe if Liverpool put the right money on the table, he will sign, but top players want Champions League and big wages come with Champions League football. If we finish in the top 4, he will sign a new deal. I believe that. After all, where can he go that is better than Liverpool FC? He can complain about the weather and that's it. There are a lot of players who need new contracts though. Fabinho, Virgil van Dijk. We can make money from offloading the likes of Origi and Shaqiri, but then we need to spend the money to replace them. And really though, who can afford Salah? Real Madrid, Barcelona have financial issues. Paris Saint-Germain, we want to spend their money to keep Mbappe and Neymar. Real Madrid spent 100 million plus on Eden Hazard, who was 28, 29 years old, and they regret it. I have to be positive. I'm a positive person, so I believe that Liverpool are going to make the top 4. I'm not scared about West Ham, Chelsea or anyone. It's about us and whether we can perform and win enough games. If we do, we will make it. We missed chances yesterday against Real Madrid, but if we play with that high intensity, that's the Liverpool FC we know. So I'm only worried about us performing in the way we can. Leeds is a very difficult team to play against on Monday, so it's not going to be easy, but it's up to us. Klopp will say the same. It's about the team. If we play to our usual level, we can make it. And if we don't, we won't make the Champions League. It's simple. And Jose Enrique also touched on the horror of VAR and how every footballer actually hates it. If technology was 100% correct, I would agree with it. Goal line technology is brilliant. There's no mistakes, it works. You have to say it makes the game fairer and better. If VAR was the same, I would stick with it, but it only brings more controversy. How can anyone say it's fair based on the madness of VAR this season? The Jota offside against Aston Villa was ridiculous. That's not football. I'm going to give you the best example. I will compare referees and VAR now to what technology has done to taxi drivers. With the utmost respect, I have to them, because they work so hard. Drivers used to have to know the roads, know exactly where to go, the streets, the landmarks. They were experts. Now with Google Maps, anyone can be a taxi driver and they don't have to think. They just rely on the technology. That's what refs can do now. So in a way, the skill of being a ref has diminished. Refs are skilled, they are passionate about the job, but can't anyone referee on the field now with VAR deciding all the big decisions? Every time they are not sure, they go to VAR, but that just adds a layer of doubt, as the VAR guy might not be sure himself either. This isn't a dig at taxi drivers, they work really hard, but the job is different now. If you did a survey of all managers and players in the top leagues, 90% of them don't like VAR, they don't want it. It hasn't improved the game, it's actually made it worse. You have taken away the excitement of celebrating a goal, the most special moment in a football match, and just added controversy for the sake of a fingernail being offside. And this still depends on where they put the blurry line. The best thing about football is goals, and they are taking that from us. It's not something I would keep, but whatever happens now will be controversial. And I think Jose Enrique hits the nail on the head there. I think there should be a VAR, but they should introduce the leeway where if it looks level to the naked eye and if the two lines are overlapping each other, if they are touching each other, it should be a goal. It should be onside. Arsene Wenger introduced this and wants this rule to be implemented. I really hope that he will do that. And thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.